Hello everyone, welcome back to a Dynasty Special. I'm coming at you from the Big Daddy account, and of course today I get to talk about my most favorite topic in the entire game. It warms my heart every time I see that little banner, and I just get the goosebumps because I'm like, oh, what's in store today, PB? This is coming at you from the Baby Way accounts question from Pureblood. You hit me up in World Chat. I love that. I love the tenacity behind it. Never be afraid to join our Discord. Drop a comment in the comment section below of any video, and of course, reach me in game. Today, take a breath. This one's for all of you who are super frustrated about it. I understand. PB's got your back. We are going to talk about the most controversial subject in the game, and that is Siege. It is a wonderful, mystical, happy place. We can all make some gold and make some friends and hold each other's hands. Yeah, I don't think it's April Fool's anymore. Let's be real. This is an absolute shit show, absolutely fundamentally on every level. Now, I am on the Asian server, so ours is a little bit unruly. I will give you that. I know the EU runs a pretty tight ship. I think Taki's server is pretty good. I'm not entirely sure what Ray's server runs, but I do know that absolutely there are some fundamental things that are looked after. We do not do it on the Asian server. It is a shit show 99% of the time. But for those that are curious, for those that are like, well, I just want to make my gold. All right, so simple fact, stay in your high yield field. You'll make about 480 to 1,000 gold a day, give or take. That's it. It's free gold. Simple. You never have to venture out. You never have to do anything. Just make sure every time you reset, every time the event or conquest map resets, you just go back to your high yield field, fill up your troops, and stay there. For those that are competitive, good luck if your power level isn't over 2 billion. I'm just telling you that from a fact, right? Because if you're under 2 billion, you're pretty much going to get wiped out most of the time, depending on your server bracket and sort of how long you've been playing the game. It varies, but basically 2 billion you're kind of okay. Under 2 billion you're going to get picked on quite a lot, especially for the Asian servers. That's what I've noticed. Now that may change. It could be 5 billion is the new meta cap. I'm starting to see a lot of players around 5 billion. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the new meta cap soon. Now, if you want to be a completionist, and this is sort of the question people say, so how do I do my season's rewards? How do I do my conquests? How do I do these things like this? Wishing shop, I have missions, it's on Fridays. I can get gold, I can get stones. I have my arms race, I got to do my arms race. I got to do my celebrate PB. I'm freaking the fuck out. How do I do this? All right, take a breath. Let's look at it from a realistic point of view, and let's look at it as a free to play point of view, I should say. Because there are some elements behind it, and I would suggest strongly. First off, if you fall on a Friday, I strongly recommend do not venture out on a Friday to do your conquests unless you have a strategy. So for your conquest, this kind of works. It works hand in hand, right? It's cheesing it, okay? I mean, there's no really way for me to say it. I've done it on a couple of videos. I've showed people. Nobody really comments on it because I assume people don't do it. But basically, this is called a cheese technique. What you want to do is, my high yield field is, of course, Yi Cheng, which is directly behind me. I just ventured over here to this one. And the reason I ventured over here is because these guys are rocking a significant higher power level than I am. So what I want to do is I want to challenge every single one of these guys until I die. The reason being is I then just teleport back to my high yield field. I replenish my troops and I have 0 wheat left and I have 0 challenge badges left. You can spend gold to purchase these ones if you really need to, but the reality is they replenish over time, so don't worry about it too much. It will come back. Comes back every day, guaranteed. But what that means is I can then go and can start to complete some of these tasks. It's odd because you're probably thinking, well, but you didn't kill anyone. Oh, yeah. The point of this is not to kill someone. The point of it is to challenge them. Everything is based on the wording of challenge. Now, people that are narcissistic will go around and hunt down the weak ones and just bash them up, kill them, and do all that sort of stuff. Honestly, if that's you, seek help, seek professional help. This is a game, and I feel like the most frustrated people ever get in Siege is because basically people don't respect that. And I'll call myself out and say I'm a prick some days of the week. I do it. I'm not perfect. I do apologize if I'm one of those people that has killed you in the past. It happens, all right? The only exception would be when you're at war with another legion. And if you're at war with another legion, make sure you're talking in your legion chat, your Discord, and they can direct you as to who you need to go fight. For a very, very long time, I believe we were supposed to be enemies with Quinn. Not sure if that's changed, but if it hasn't, well, I don't really care. And if it has, I don't care either because I didn't kill anyone from Quinn. I just basically defeated myself and acquired all of the requirements for completing the missions. This works for Arms Race, this works for Celebrate Festival, this works for your 20 on Friday. This is the cheese technique, proudly brought to you by PB. 100% of the time, 99% of the time, it will work. All jokes aside, it's the easiest way to do it. You don't cause any friction. You literally don't. My advice is though, try to pick the shortest possible place to go to. I know that doesn't always work out. I know that sometimes, you have to travel further to fight people that are weaker or stronger, I should say, than you, because you run the risk. So if you're going to go and fight someone that is potentially like this guy who's slightly weaker than me, chances are he's going to take a couple of my troops, but the reality is I'm going to beat him. So I'm going to leave him in a far worse situation when I leave than when I started. I don't really feel like that's necessary because the dude's not doing anything to me. He's not really doing anything to you. Now, for those that are greedy, of course, if you decide to go to a triple feature here, and like I said, you're under the power level of 2 billion, chances are you're the first one that they're going to kill. It's a thing, right? I already know it's a thing. I can guarantee you that anyone under 2 billion is going to get wiped out. Anyone over 5 billion is probably safe. Even these guys, which are ridiculously strong on our server, are just going to get their asses handed to them. It's just a thing. Now, they are a little bit more respectful in the triple fields. However, most of the time, he's going to get one dude who's going to roll up there and he's just going to wipe out 20 of them in a row. And then he's going to be thinking he's king shit. And then all of a sudden, Ben's going to come over there and kick his ass. But that's just a part of the whole process, right? So, in terms of is it valuable, what am I going to get if I actually deploy this method? It's going to cost you nothing. It's only going to cost you attempts every day, and you're going to guaranteed be able to get every single aspect of the game that requires you to acquire some free stuff. This is what I would strongly recommend everyone doing. Don't worry about the gold generation. It's pretty minuscule when you look at it. Is it worth you getting killed and then having to be respawned, then wasting your time and then going back to the same field and then coming back 5 minutes later and someone's come in there and killed you again? The short answer is no. You might as well just chill in the high yield field. You might as well do your weeklies, your dailies, or your special events that require your conquest the way that I showed you. And if you really, really, really just don't like it altogether, just forget about it. Don't bother playing Siege. It's not worth it. The environment, I would say, for those that sometimes read some of the comments, if it'll let me back in there, I'm going to be honest with you. Some of the shit that comes out of here is just... I think one was, I hope your children hate you, was one of the comments I read here. It's a toxic place. And I mean, them being Asian, it's funny because they can't, and I'm not picking on people here, but it's funny because they don't fluently speak English or write English for the majority of them. So when you read what they say, you kind of scratch your head and go, I think he's trying to be mean, but I don't know how mean he's trying to be. But anyway, that's probably the only thing I like about Siege. If we're talking about cities, it is important to liaise with your own guilds. I'd be remiss not to say this. If you're in a top 10 guild, basically just, chat with them and they'll decide what fields they want to take, and it's as simple as that. In terms of rewards, well, of course, you get some cool stuff here. Um, it is worthwhile liaising that with your legions and coordinating on the last day of siege to do that. Global siege is a different kettle of fish. That's probably when you need to have your leaders start forming alliances with others within your faction, so Wei, Wu, or Shu, and that way you can accumulate, form truces, and then maximize your yields. Honestly, global siege, I made some bank. Not gonna lie, that's probably a different aspect to this. But unfortunately, here there doesn't seem to be any real alliances. They just kind of just shit on each other, and it's not worth worrying about. In Global, when Global comes out again, I think I'll do a quick follow-up guide for that. But hopefully, Pureblood, this answers your question how I go about doing my siege and conquests each day. And realistically, I'm not worried about generating gold here. I actually don't even account for it in my total each day. I look at everything else as a guaranteed, whereas siege is a maybe. All right. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.